Term. Congressman, we feel lucky to have you tonight. Thank you for being with us.
Hey, Rachel, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Ezra Klein is our resident wonk, and he has a wonk question for you. So I'm going to hand things over to Ezra for the Washington
Good evening,
Post.
Congressman.
Hey, good evening.
Governor Daniels' speech was mostly about debt, and one of the points he made was that the debt has run up quite a bit under President Obama. The New York Times recently did an analysis, an apples to apples of debt under the two presidents from their policies, not from the economic crisis around them. So the Bush tax cuts versus the stimulus, the health care bill versus Medicare Part D. They found that under Bush, the policies themselves led to $5 trillion in debt, and under Obama, it was $1.5 trillion. So it seemed that Daniels, who is Bush's budget director, has somewhat of a worse record than Obama. Doesn't that undermine the credibility of those comments a bit?
Well, I haven't seen the analysis, so it's difficult for me to speak to it. I think you can fudge numbers quite a lot if you are debating what the recession actually did. Listen, I was no big defender of the Bush policies as far as deficit and debt spending. I think we have to be serious about how we're managing this country's finances, whether Republicans in the White House or whether Democrats in the White House.
Congressman Al Sharpton, the president laid out some challenges to the Congress in terms of tax reform, in terms of energy, in terms of education. What are you prepared and your colleagues prepared to do to work with the president on the things he outlined? Is there anything that you heard tonight that you're prepared to commit right now to say, I'm willing to work with the president on that?
Oh, you bet. If he's willing to actually do real tax reform, and I'm not talking about just nibbling around the edges. Listen, our tax code is over 10,000 pages long. It's overly complex. There's a tax on a tax what Americans have to pay to have their tax returns done. I'm an advocate of throwing that tax code out and starting over. That would give us the opportunity to eliminate some of the subsidies and tax expenditures that the president spoke of. I think that's a step in the right direction. I was encouraged by his all-in type of energy policy. I would agree with that. So, yeah, I think there are some things that we certainly could reach for and work together with the president.
Congressman Ribble, one of the sort of intangibles that the president talked about tonight was the temperature in Washington, this idea that the parties have to be locked in mortal combat all the time. Does that, as a first-term congressman, as somebody who was elected in the red-hot partisan election of 2010 when Republicans did so well, does that call resonate with you at all? Do you think that's at all possible?
Well, I think it's possible. Rachel, some of the bickering happens a little bit above my pay grade. I sat tonight with a good friend of mine by the name of Kurt Schrader, a Democrat representative from Oregon, a very good friend of mine. We have a tendency to be able to work together. I think in the halls of Congress, the men and women are able to talk across the aisle and get some things done. The real test of what the president said tonight is not what he actually communicated tonight, but what he communicates on his own campaign tomorrow. If he's willing to control his own rhetoric on the campaign trail, and he's willing to soften that a little bit, he might find a more cooperative Congress.
Congressman Ribble, Republican of Wisconsin, it's nice to have you here with us tonight. Thank you for your time, sir.